he is so cooked. They were zooming in on all the pads he has on his legs and all this stuff like that. And then he would go out there and he would get the ball and they'd be like, he literally just can't hold himself up with his legs. Right? They got 6 at best to keep it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. They lost it. They got 8. Sent it to OKC. Not good.
Not good. Not good. But like all the
breaking news: Philly is not keeping their pick.
Why Michael Scott, unironically.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a good call. That's a good call. He really that was like an episode of The Office. You could script out that All-Star game and put LeBron in for Michael Scott. It would be like an actual.
That's what he would do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Screws loose, they done stripped the bolts on them. Should've never sent them to pick up the work for me. Sprayed the park and had my shit inside the car. Marcus Smart Boy was shooting with a 36 on him. Said if he wasn't in the rush, they was all goners. Tech cursive on the
all right. Greetings, Chudlings. Welcome to another episode of Chuddy's Corner. It is Thursday, February 20th. The All-Star break is over. Celtics back in action. And they go down to Philly and absolutely whomp the 76ers. 124-104 is the final score. I feel like even a 20-point win is not indicative to how badly they went down there and just beat the shit out of the Sixers. Tatum, triple-double. Pritchard, 28 points. Brown had 26 and 6. Everyone just was playing great. The threes were falling. This was a clinic. I don't really know. Go ahead and give us a little bit, but this game was over quick.
Yeah. No, I mean, that was a good synopsis. I think you saw two teams going in completely opposite directions coming out of this All-Star break. You saw one
Why
team
is
that looked
Embiid
like
still in there?
Oh, that's a great question. But yeah, I mean, we saw one team that looked like a well-oiled machine and is ready to crank things into gear for this stretch run in the playoff run, and the other team that was like, why did we come back from Cancun? Like, what are we doing? And yeah, I mean, I think you put the nail on the head, but I think I get both sides, because also if you're the Sixers, you're like, fuck, this season has been so shitty. Like, this isn't going to be the year, but it would at least be nice now that the big three are healthy to, like, we're playing a good team. Can we at least see what this is like supposed to look like? If you're Philly, I think you could at least feel a little better if the three
coming
guys
back from the All-Star break with them all back, you talk yourself into it, and then they just get absolutely thumped.
Right, all at home, and it's like, again, you could earn yourself some positive will if you went out and looked good, and they'd be like, all right, at least get like the picture of this team. You could talk yourself into like, get some rest. We'll be back next year. We'll have McCain. We'll have another pit. Blah blah blah. But it's like, no, this is the version of the team. Like, this tonight was what you wanted to see, and they just got completely outclassed on both ends, and they looked men against boys. Like you said, 20 whatever points the final was not indicative. In the first half, I mean, they holy foul baiting ref show to keep them in the game, because the Celtics were not missing. Their offense they were running, like Embiid out there is basically 4-on-5. The Celtics were getting a wide open look every time, burying their threes, and then they're like, well, Embiid can't do anything on the pick and roll against Tatum, nor can Drummond when he comes in, so we're going to blitz him. And then Tatum's just shredding them apart. It was open three. They're going in tonight. Again, if it wasn't for the ridiculous foul calls, the Celtics probably should have been up by like 25 at halftime, and not to go full-on conspiracy, Coley Mick, whenever he's on the show, but he makes a big deal about these national TV games. The refs have to keep it close. It kind of felt like that in the first half, where they're like, can we at least keep this to like 10-15 so everyone's not tuning out by halftime? Because it felt like we were absolutely dominating them, and then the floodgates completely opened in the second. And then, when we stretch it out to 30-29 in the third quarter, and then kind of just whatever from there. But I mean, complete demolition on both ends. They could not stop our offense from getting literally whatever shot we wanted every single time. And then they're working so hard on offense to maybe get foul shots. Like, it's just insane how it's funny how good, like, if you just pulled Paul George's like 3 best plays from that game, you'd be like, holy shit, this guy's sick. But it's like, he just works so hard to take the highest degree of difficulty shot every play. It's like, when it goes in, it does look very nice. But I mean, he couldn't have had less than impact on the game.
Yeah.
And
Embiid, he just goes out and plays like it's just an individual game. Like, players like that, you just go out and it's like they're not playing within anything except for what they want to do. Like, nothing, and he had that play, ball, like, anything like that. Crossed
ups, Hauser made that sick fadeaway. It's like, like sick play. But again, Hauser comes back, we make 3 passes, he hits a wide open 3, and it's like, that counts for more points than what you just did. And we worked you worked so much harder to generate that shot that you've been working for like all game. And it's just, I mean, it's brutal. And Embiid, I mean, again, it's just like, how can you say he's hurt? Because if he's hurt, why is he out there? And they just had basically 10 days off. So it's like, is he ever going to be more healthy than he is tonight? And if this is as healthy as he can be, like, I'm not sure he's better than Luke Cornett, literally.
No.
Like, he can't move. He cannot move.
Never thought
he can't move. And again, they bailed him out on some of those egregious fouls, but he's a cone on defense. He cannot move outside. Like, if you recall, it feels like a while ago, but defense used to be one of the biggest things. Like, he was an absolute machine on the defensive end, defensive anchor, who, when he ramped it up, was as good a rim protector and defensive player, arguably in the entire league. Now, like, Tatum's looking at him in the pick and roll like fucking food every single time. And I don't think it's him even like lollygagging it. I just don't think his body can do it.
No, and the way that they were talking about him on the broadcast was so hilarious. Like, they were just like, he is done. Like, he is so cooked. They were zooming in on all the pads he has in his legs and all this stuff like that. And then he would go out there and he would get the ball and they'd be like, he literally just can't hold himself up with his legs right now. It's like, it was him flopping pretty much, but some of those flops, he's just causing so much more pain. Yeah.
But it was like, even back before, when he would do this like flopping shit, but you would at least see the moments where you're like, Jesus Christ, this guy's a fucking moose. He would just dominate people. Tonight, it was like Porzingis was standing around him and he was just like falling off him. We had like Pritchard and switching on to him, and I was like, I'm not even worried. And he wasn't even looking at the basket. He's just trying to run like dribble handoffs with Pritchard sagging way underneath. It's like, what does this guy do out there? And again, why have him out there if he's this bad? The team is this bad. Like, it's unfathomable how it can look this bad with all of those guys on the court, and they're locked into this team for 5 years at like, I mean, this is, I don't know.
They're definitely going to be able to get out of one of these contracts. Like, someone's going.
How? Like, if they,
I mean, who knows? I mean, Luka, things just happen. Like, I don't know. There's always a how.
I mean, they could get out of him, but I feel like getting out of these contracts is essentially restarting the entire process, which like is maybe at this point probably what they should do. Like,
there's no way Embiid in Philly ends with like a good ending, a good. But story.
I also like at this moment in time, obviously the trade deadline's passed, but assuming this is what we see for the rest of the season, even if they go into the offseason being like, we need to trade Paul George and Embiid, those guys have 4 and 5 years left on max contracts. I don't think you're getting positive value. Like, they might have to send picks out to get someone to take those deals. Like, I think Paul George might have surpassed Bradley Beal as the worst contract in the league. And if not him, maybe Embiid. Like, those are bad. You watch those guys play. I'm making a joke about Cornette, but I'm not kidding. Like, it's a joke, but it isn't.
I wasn't never kidding about that.
I mean, people listening, if they didn't watch the game, might think that. But, like, if you just watched tonight and you'd never watched basketball before, you definitely wouldn't come away from that game thinking Embiid is a better player than Luke Cornette.
And Luke Cornette Tatum two-man game. That was another highlight I didn't say at the beginning.
Dominant. But again, that showed us like Philly, they have no answers. Because at that point, they were like, Tatum pick and roll, well, let's blitz him because he's cooking us. And he's just dumping it to Cornette for monster dunks. I mean, it was like a highlight, really. It was
Cornette
honestly,
in the dunk contest. I'm pushing for Cornette in the dunk contest next year.
Yeah. Yeah, it's warranted. I'd be willing to see
Showtime Luke. Let's go.
Showtime Luke. I mean, he continues to play great on both ends. He's just awesome. But again, to me, it's almost sad to watch him beat out there and just have no fear of him on either end. It's like I'm just so unconcerned about what he's doing. And when friggin' old ass Andre Drummond came in, it was like, I'm not even noticing a drop off on either end. They're basically the same player.
I know, that's crazy.
Honestly, Drummond's like has more burst. Embiid has a little more touch and was making a couple, maybe like made an elbow shot or two, but it's like Drummond's more active. He's getting more rebounds and he actually dunked the ball once. It's like
Philly fans are so lucky they won the Super Bowl because it's so brutal. This would be such a great like collapse for the Sixers, but
yeah,
they do have that.
My God, yeah. I mean, eventually,
it's about as bad as it can get for the Sixers right now. It
really is, and it's gonna all their entire mental well-being is gonna come down to lottery night. Like at this point, I think we can safely agree. Whatever their odds are, it's all gonna come down to those ping pong balls, and they're either.
What is it? They have to finish sixth or best to keep their pick.
If it's in the top 6, they get it. That's it. And as of right now, I think they literally have the 6th worst record. So. But with the that still is only like a 48% chance of keeping it. So unless and they can't really get much worse because some of the teams at the bottom are just like they're not catching them. You know, they could maybe get to like 4th or 5th worst, but they're going to be on the bubble. It's going to be like probably about a coin flip.
All right, quick draft lotto simulator, and then we'll move on to our Chuddy Chains. We'll see if anything else left. All right. So you said that they had 6 are best to keep it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. They lost it. They got an 8th, sent it to OKC.
Yeah.
Not good. Not good for Philly.
Not good. But like, all
Breaking
the more reason
news,
why
Philly is not keeping their pick.
Why are these guys playing? Shut everyone down, lose every game, pray for ping pong balls.
Especially if they just played them all at the same time. This is what it looked like.
Well, that's what I mean.
What you needed to see.
You're just making things. You're hurting those guys' value.
You've seen enough.
You're hurting their value. You're hurting, I would think, their confidence. You're making all your your positive level of like the vibes are just going down the toilet.
Embiid out there reminds me of like RG3 going back out in that like playoff game when his knee was just obviously just shredded.
It's sad. It's honestly kind of sad. Like, we obviously will get never tire of making fun of the Sixers, but it is almost just like sad to watch him out there and be like, Jesus Christ, man, this guy was MVP.
Not too long ago, yeah. They're talking about him like this wash.
Not that long ago at all, right? And it's like he doesn't look like the same human being.
Right.
So
should we give out some Chuddy Chains?
Yeah, I mean, I just had a few tiny things I wanted to mention. I mean, you brushed over it, but Peyton Pritchard, he was kind of in a shooting slump. What do you have, 28 tonight? Hit 8 threes, and they were just like, holy shit. Had a few of those. He just out muscling bigger guys, making layups, like vintage Pritchard. It was honestly, I mean, Tatum got the triple-double. Pretty much everyone played well, but it was almost like a Pritchard and Luke show in the first half. It was like, we're just going to let Pritchard and Luke beat the full health Sixers tonight. Like, no big deal. And they were up to it, certainly. Nick Nurse's watch, chill the fuck, dude. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see the watch.
It's just so over the top.
What was it, like jewelry?
Just like a giant gold watch with just like a massive face, and his sleeve seemed like a little too coincidentally pulled down, so it was like flashing on the sidelines. Just like, all right, man.
And then they get absolutely trucked. That's not a good look.
Yeah, I mean, I might wear that every game. I don't know. But, the Embiid flopping stuff, I don't, even if it's when it's going well, like, how can you watch this? And now, like, it's getting worse and worse, which is. Oof.
Well, now he's like physically unable to stand, so sometimes you don't know if it is him just like falling, like when an old person falls over or something.
It's like his legs.
It's like it happens in slow motion. It's very, very crazy to see.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's concerning. It's certainly concerning. Torrey Craig came in only for the last 3 minutes. I saw that they honored Dikembe Mutombo before the game. It looked like Craig was doing his own tribute to Mutombo because he hit like 4 outrageous block shots in like 3 minutes that were like, holy shit. And he had that one, he dunked Council's layup. I think they called it a travel, so it didn't go, but it was after the travel. He stuffed the absolute shit out of him, but man, he was active and he was flying around. And I've always known him as a good 3-and-D guy, but not like, he was showing off some serious hops and athleticism. So that was certainly caught my attention. That was cool to see. Hearing the Philly fans boo their own players is just such a joy to behold.
Just like, that's about as Philly as it gets. So that's like almost like that's like a Philly bar mitzvah is like, you have to go and like boo your own team in order to become a man.
All the more of like, why just have fucking Ricky Council and Yabu and all these guys go out and just try hard, and at least you won't have your own fans booing you. Like, at this point, like, why even subject yourselves to this is crazy. And then the other thing is just like the progression of the Philly games this year has been funny because obviously the Christmas game that you went to was like awful for the Celtics.
Bad.
Then the last game started awful, and then that end of the third quarter when we erased that from that point on when we were down 26 and we won that game like 12, and then we were up tonight like 29. So I was at a certain point where I was like, I'm pretty sure if you take the last like 35 minutes of us against Philly, we're up by like 60 points right now. Maybe more. We like might have outscored them by. We should have the intern crunch the numbers, but I bet we won by like 70 points over the span of
from
less
fourth
than 40
quarter of that game to through this game.
Through like the middle of the third. Whenever we got up by our biggest tonight, which I want to say we were up 30 with like a few minutes left in the third. So it was probably about a full 48 minutes of basketball that we won by, I would wager to guess, over 70 points.
Pretty solid.
Kind of sums it up where both teams are at. But
solid.
Yeah, man. I hope this is we'll see, I guess, as things go on. It's hard to tell, honestly, if this was more about us or more about them. Probably like an even mix of both. But the Celtics, they look pretty damn good, and I'm excited if this is what we're going to get second half of the season. Sign me the fuck up. Shouts to Tatum, too. Yeah. Only his 4th triple-double. It feels like he's an assist or a rebound away almost every night, and usually doesn't get to play long enough to record him. Like when I heard only 4 for his career, I was like, damn, that seems low. And he's only
I
had
feel
1
like
this
he'll
year.
always get like a ton more of one. He'll have like 14 assists and like 7 rebounds or vice versa or something like that.
Yeah, but
this was great. I mean, the way he was dishing the ball was
and it was
a masterpiece out there.
Jokic-esque. He almost had it in the third quarter, right? I think he needed 1 rebound in the fourth. But
he was 1 away in the third,
He was absolutely dominating the game, and it is just so nice to see again. Like, oh, we're going to try the doubling Tatum strategy? How'd that work out?
Good luck.
Yeah, exactly. So,
pray
fun
for
stuff.
you.
Continues to be a joy to just watch him manipulate defenses. Just gets better every time. So, yeah.
Good stuff. We're back, baby.
Fun game.
We're back, baby.
Fun game to watch.
All right, we'll give out some Chuddy Chains. First, before we do that, word from our sponsor, Mario's Roofing. Roofing, Mario's, siding, Mario's, windows, Mario's. Just got to call Mario's. At Mario's, we pride ourselves on quality, safety, and value. Quality, safety, and value. Very good things. We wouldn't do anything to your home that we wouldn't also do to our own. So call Mario's today and ask about their winter specials. 781-344-2420 or visit mariosroofing.com. Check out Mario's Roofing. They won't soak you to keep you warm and dry. Thank you to Mario's. Chuddy Chains today. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going right back to the well with Cornette. He was an absolute beast on both ends. 2 blocks, a steal, at least 2 or 3 dunks. Just Joe talks all the time about owning your space. I think if you're ever not quite sure what he means by that, Luke tonight owned the fuck out of his space. To do that against,
his fucking
whatever
space.
version of Embiid you're getting, and Drummond, who's still a fucking moose, and Luke just
it was moose on moose, like when you see
out there. Like, he was dominating. He was diving on the floor. He was jumping around. He was celebrating. He was playing above the rim. A few rebounds. He had the tip back. He was looking for the shooting foul on that. So just the more the season goes on, the more it seems like it's going to be really, really hard for Luke not to be in the playoff rotation. So
I was saying that earlier. You were telling me that there's no way we're going to see him out there.
No way. But I just don't think it's a given. But I think again, it's getting to the point where maybe it is. Maybe it should be a given. So
yeah, I mean he's a beast. All right, that's a good one. I'm kind of torn, but I think I'm going to give I think I'm going to go with the superstar tonight, Tatum, with a triple-double. 15 points, 11 rebounds, the 10 assists, just the way he was passing the ball in that second quarter, specifically with Cornette, who you just mentioned, getting him a lot of those points anyway. It just felt like, again, just your superstar player kind of giving up, scoring a ton. I mean, he had 15, he hit some big shots too. He had a corner 3 that was like, I remember when he hit it, just like, okay, if that's just something that he can regularly go to in his bag, because it wasn't like something you regularly see with him. It was kind of just like, he just sort of turned around and shot a 3.
Yeah.
So
I think that was off an old board, right? It was off a catch, but either way.
Yeah. So just did everything you want to see from your superstar player. So tonight I'll give my Chuddy Chain to Tatum. Only 4th triple-double. It is a little crazy.
Yeah.
But so I guess that's worthy of a Chuddy Chain. It's rare. It's not something you see very often.
Well deserved. For sure.
All right. We'll do a little round in the NBA. First, you want to give a word from our other sponsor?
Yes, sir. Chuddy's Corner, proudly brought to you by Nick Perino Real Estate, our good friend, our longtime friend, a day one OG Chuddy had, a sometimes guest fill-in. These are all the hats that Nick Perino wears. Real estate mogul. I'm out of state right now. I'm down visiting some in-laws in New Jersey. Some friends were running into an issue. Their realtor was kind of giving them the runaround. I said, I got just the guy for you. Put him in touch with Nick. 10 minutes later, he left his dinner, actually. This was at like 8:30 p.m. last night. Left his dinner, was on the phone, helping them out. Again, just one tiny example of literally something that happened in my life less than 24 hours ago, but that's exactly the kind of guy Nick is. He did that for me. He'll do that for you. Whatever you need in the world of real estate, you got to go to Nick. He's the man. You can see more at nickperino.com, nickpiraino.com. Nick Perino Real Estate. Thanks again. Visit Nick for any real estate needs.
All right, sweet. Around the NBA, obviously we had the All-Star break, so not a lot game-wise, but the NBA never sleeps on stories.
Hell no.
So there's plenty to get to. Why don't you go ahead and lead us off?
Yeah, well, gotta start with the All-Star recap, which it's more just almost like the discourse around the whole thing that is annoying to me. Starting off, first of all, the dunk contest, I actually thought was like good, but again, it's just so the presentation around it. Like, Stephon Castle was awesome. He deserved to win that dunk contest. I mean, the through the legs dunk catching it out of the rim was fucking sick. The behind the back dunk is fucking sick. These are real dunks by a young budding star. That's exactly what we want to see. And they're all just giddy for Mac McClung, who are his dunks impressive? Yes. But it's not even like dunking. It's like a show. It's gimmicks. Everything takes 5 minutes to set up with props. It's like a fucking YouTube video of dunks. And it's just like, this isn't really dunking. And he just has this advantage. He has dunk coaches. He's practicing this shit all year. It's so choreographed and staged. And at the end of the day, they're all kind of the same thing where he just jumps over a guy, does the old Steve Francis move where he pushes down to lift himself more off the guy and looks sick, and then he dunks it. And it looks sick, but it's basically the same thing, just with a different prop or a different gimmick. These other guys aren't doing that. They're doing real dunks because they're actual basketball players, not professional dunkers. It's stupid. That's like, if I'm a star, I'm like, I don't want to face this YouTuber who the judges are just giving him 50s. I'm like, what are you doing? Reward Castle, who's doing these awesome dunks. They're giving him a 49.6. T-Mac, man, I love you, T-Mac, but have some self-respect. What the fuck? This would have been a good message to send to, like, we're going to reward the star coming here and dunking. You actually win, not the guy who just jumps over a different thing every time and vaults himself up, who's not even really a basketball player. He's played in 13 career games. I think in the last 5 years, he's won more dunk contests than he has appeared in NBA games. So it's just silly. It's just annoying. I don't get who this is for. I don't get who wants this. And it's also a stupid unfair advantage because the shit he's doing, he's going out and jumping over Ikea. It's sick. Guess who's not doing that? My fucking NBA player who, if Jaylen Brown goes and does that same dunk and hits his ankle on the car and falls down, we're on suicide watch. Like, so it's
but I mean, Blake Griffin jumped over a car.
The front of the car. He jumped over the hood of the car.
Oh, true.
And even that, if I was a Clippers fan, I probably would have been like, I don't love him doing this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. Yeah. So that to me is just so dumb. Get rid of the Mac McClung thing. Fine. Give him his flowers. Like, nothing against him. It's obviously not his fault.
Oh, you've just been shitting on him for the last 10 minutes, but nothing against him.
But it's just the system hate the game. Like, you know what I mean? They've created this situation. And it would be cool if guys wanted to come and like challenge him, but again, they just give him a 50 every time, and it's the presentation. It's not like the actual skill or what he's doing. It's
it is stupid. It takes like so long to get everything all set up and all that shit.
Exactly. And why weren't they starting his time? They gave Buzelis the ball. The clock starts that second. They give McClung the ball. It's 45 minutes of him directing traffic for the car to come on the court. I'm like, his time should have been up 20 minutes ago. Like, this is bullshit. So it's like the whole thing is catered to him.
I mean, the whole presentation of all of our stuff. I don't know if we're going to talk about that.
Yeah,
definitely. By large, but
I just wanted to start with that.
With the dunk contest.
That was pissing me off for sure. The 3-point was whatever.
Do you feel
better? The highlight of the skills was Chris Paul and Wemby trying to game the system, which was absolutely hilarious. I love that. That's what we need more of. Guys so competitive, they're willing to try to find loopholes in the rules to win. And then they disqualified them and wouldn't even let them interview them. I'm like, this is the most entertaining thing.
Not letting them interview them was crazy because disqualifying them is hilarious. Yeah, disqualifying them is hilarious. Then let the interview go and have them be like, oh, damn, you know, like, ripping on them, have it be funny.
Like, we asked the judges and they said we wouldn't get disqualified. Like, I'm like, finally, this is actually kind of cool. And then they're like, no, you can't talk to him. And then that
was so weird how that guy was literally like preventing Ali LaForce from like, why? It was like, dude, who are you? Yeah.
It's just like they're going out of their way to make there's one shred of like, oh, this is actually kind of interesting and funny, and they're like, no, like focus on the skills. Yeah. Like it's just like, all right,
fine with them being disqualified, but you have to make that then part of the hilarity. They should have leaned into that.
That should have been the main like part of it. They should have kept going back and forth. Like that actually could have been funny, entertaining. Again, that was the coolest part of the night, and they were immediately like, no, we don't want that. It's just like, all right, like this is just stupid. So that was Saturday night. The actual game, I thought. Like, it's so stupid. Everyone's just ripping on it to shreds. But I thought the actual format was good. When they were out there, I'm like, they're playing. There's some defense. This is fun. It was everything else. The 45 minutes they played basketball were great. The 3 hours of concerts and Kevin Hart shows and TNT doing tributes to themselves in the middle of the fucking game. When you've got the players on the court all being like, wrap it up. Like, this sucks. It's like, you want the players to
like you're telling the players to take it seriously, and then they're just sitting there making it's like the thing with the All-Star game now is like what's ruining it is they turn it into this huge commercial fest, and it's totally no one wants that. It's like, well, if we do this, we can have another sponsor for this. If we do this, we can have another sponsor for this. And then it's just totally oversaturated. It's either commercials, like you said, Kevin Hart talking, or like also just an aside. It's like if I was Kevin Hart, I would not be doing any NBA things. He looks like not even a real person every time he's on stage with a group of people. Like he looks like it doesn't make any sense that that's like the same person.
But also, like, who wants this? And I feel like it's been 10 years of like beating this down our throats, and it's like it was so bad to the point where I was wondering, like, is this TNT being like, this is our last broadcast, or we're gonna give like a fuck you with such a bad broadcast? Because I was like, why are we watching? Literally in the middle of the final game, they stopped at 11 to do a 20-minute tribute to the TNT guys. It's like the show isn't even going anywhere. You're coming back on ESPN next year. So again, it's like, and then you got this like Mr. Beast contest. You've got Kevin Hart cracking jokes. You've got Draymond up there just shitting on all things NBA. I'm like, this is the worst
which is like
production and broadcast I've ever fucking seen. And it was pissing me off because the actual games were good. I was like, these guys want to try. They're making good plays. But I feel like it's like scattered moments of basketball around this 4 hour.
There should be no break between. There should be absolutely no break between the semifinals games.
Exactly,
and then maybe like a 10-minute break between the semifinal and the next final, just because that one team just played. Well, just because the one team just played, you gotta go.
No, but like a normal length in between, like a quarter or a half, where it's like you want to do all this bullshit. Fine, do it all leading up. Start at 4 p.m. and have a 5-hour fucking comedy special. I don't care. Once you've introduced the players. Let's play some fucking basketball.
And make
so
it
for them
to
be out there, like, exactly. I felt like this was more to honor Kevin Hart and the guys on the TNT show. Like, we all love Inside the NBA, but this was, to me, the final straw. I was just like, fuck these guys. I can't wait to get this shit off TNT. Like, this sucks. And it shouldn't have sucked. That's the worst part. It shouldn't have sucked. Players were there playing.
I did like the format.
It was, I mean, it's better. Again, like we said, it's never going to be perfect, but it was like, okay, this is solid. I'm liking this.
I would say, just like I said, less time between and maybe make the games to like 60. 50, I feel like 40 comes a little quick.
Definitely.
But yeah, no, I mean, because I feel like 40 was like by the time they made subs, like some guys barely even got to play. Like if you lost that first game, you might have played like 4 minutes of like anything during the whole weekend.
Right.
But I would say do that and then have a third place game too. Have like the other two teams play.
Yeah, why not? But
like and just have more games. Like I don't know, it just
No,
and just less of the bullshit, because I did like that setup and it did seem like the guys were playing hard. And I just think you make each of those to 60, and then you might have like a third place game or whatever. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, it pisses me off too because everyone's going to come away from this being like, "Wow, the new format sucks." And it's like, no. It's everything but the format.
Was chill, yeah.
Right. It's like everything else sucked. The format I think was actually good, but we're never going to be able to know because of everything else, and that pisses me off. Why they insist on having Draymond up there? Like, I hope these networks now that have the NBA, like TNT loves Draymond. I hope these new networks are like, dude, we don't want you around. What does he bring to the broadcast? He's just old and like petty and jealous and hates on everything that isn't him. He's up there basically shitting on everything that isn't him. He's like, oh, these rising stars don't deserve to be there. This isn't about them. It's like, dude, they're there because you and your fucking cronies made this game into a joke. That's why they have to be
exactly.
Because you all fucked this up.
That was the biggest thing that you didn't realize. It's like, you guys were made
so the lack of self-awareness. And it's just like, he's drifted so far away from what made him good when he started in media, actually talking about stuff. And now it's just like, he's just a hater. He's just like a worse perk almost. And it's just so annoying. So I hope he's not like grandfathered into one of these networks just because they think that's like, oh, new media. What we want. Like, this guy fucking sucks. I don't know anyone who likes listening to him. And I hate it because I used to like listening to him and think that he was insightful.
I don't know why it has one come on.
That's what
I said, you go watch an NFL pregame show, they'll look you in the eyes. They'll look you in the eyes and tell you that Jaguars Titans is like, this is going to be a great matchup. Like the Titans got this guy that's so good. He's up and coming. And it's like, they obviously know they all suck. And they obviously know that like it's not going to be good. Right. They're never like,
but it's also
he
like,
basically was like, turn this shit off. It's like,
exactly.
Okay,
like,
dude,
most NBA fans like basketball. Maybe talk about the good things. Talk about how fucking sick all these players are and how much skill they have instead of being like, the game sucks. Everyone plays the same. Yeah. They just shoot threes. Back in my day, blah, blah, blah. Like, dude, fuck off. I hope these new stations get it. And it's, so far, based on the hires we've seen, it seems like they do. But, like, I'm just so fucking ready to move on.
Reggie Miller going to NBC.
That's fine. Reggie is a foolish, but he loves the game. Reggie and Harlan I will happily listen to all day. Is like, at this point...
Harlan's great.
Right. Well, I was just saying that's the team. So it's like, the things that piss me off about Reggie have nothing to do with like the things that piss me off about these other guys who it seems like are actively trying to make the product worse. And the fact
Reggie
that the like stations and stuff don't realize this. And I mean, it's across the board. All these shows, it's like Greg Jennings, I saw you posted, Nick Wright, all these, Chris Broussard. Who the fuck wants to listen to these people talk about basketball? Seriously. It's like, it's insulting to the intelligence and to the people. Again, we're watching sports channels. We probably like basketball. Like, talk to us. It's just, I don't know. I could go on forever, but it blows my mind.
Yeah.
Good riddance to these fucking stations. That's all I'll say, I guess, to the rest of that. Anything you want to say on LeBron sitting out? Like,
it's just the most textbook classic LeBron move ever to sit out. Like, so in case anyone doesn't know, if you're under a rock or whatever, tells everyone at the pregame press, like, oh yeah, no, I'm not playing today. I'm just like got a little foot like soreness or something like that. So just completely fucks another player having an all-star spot. And then absolute dickhead obviously has to make it about him too, poses in the team picture just in his street clothes. So everyone else is in the uniforms. He's in his street clothes. It's like, dude, you could at least put on the uniform for that. Like, it's just like the craziest. He's just the most tone deaf. There's honestly kind of this push right now. It's just like, I think like he's like, he needs to get out of here. I think a lot of the things that make the NBA suck, I don't know if it's related to him. I don't know if it's causation or correlation or whatever, but
it's become associated with him, fair or not.
Yeah. This kind of shit is just it's the most LeBron move ever. Obviously, just makes it about me.
Well, like you said,
and
the out of touchness.
Someone else.
I think the sad part is he genuinely doesn't realize, and I think he is.
It's like if you call out of work and like show up. Like if you like work at like a restaurant, you call and they like show up to like have dinner. It's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
dude, what the hell? Like someone.
And again, I think he's just so delusional, and he's just so used to being rich and famous and having everyone tell him he's the man that he literally doesn't understand. Like, he just doesn't possess that self-awareness. I think when you're at that level of fame, you like can't almost. He's too famous.
Just like walking around being like, yeah, it was like, why are you dressed? Like, oh, I'm not playing. Like, what?
Right. Like, meanwhile, like Giannis was in uniform. Giannis was ruled out like a month in advance. He didn't have to go. Like, he had a replacement, and he was there. He was still in uniform. Like, I was just like,
dude, the fact that he didn't change.
He's like
the
Michael
pictures,
Scott, unironically.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a good call. That is a good call. He really that was like an episode of The Office. Like if you could script out that All-Star game and put LeBron in for Michael Scott, it would be like an actual
That's what he would
episode
do.
of The Office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's man.
Just like awkwardly wandering into the team picture, like
right. But thinking he's like cool.
Didn't he like do that? Didn't Michael do that at like Phyllis's wedding or something like that? He must be just like sneaking in like the pictures or whatever. It's like basically.
Sure. You could probably go and do a lot of like crossover between the two. It would probably be closer.
Unreal. That's a great call. It's a great comp.
Yeah, it's sad, but so that was All-Star weekend.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, there's a lot. We had a lot of demons to exercise.
Yeah. But we were luckily. My weight was cut one night short last night, as we alluded to in our last episode, and it kind of just ended up being funny that rescheduled game that ended up being a standalone game last night was Hornets-Lakers, which there couldn't probably in our entire lifetimes couldn't have been a better time for a Hornets-Lakers game to be like the standalone game with all that's going on with both teams. I was watching like it was a fucking marquee event of the night, and let me just tell you,
like the Hornets were playing it like
it was the worst basketball game I've watched in a long time. Those teams are so bad, and the Lakers are playing right down to their level. I mean, this Luka just looks like he's awful. They arrested him tonight. They said back to back week, but he's like, I hope he's playing to just try to like earn some goodwill because he just looks awful. And after the game, they're like, you don't look in shape, and he's like, I've just been like trying to get my mind off basketball or something. And dude, you just had like 10 days off to get yourself in shape. Like, all right. So he looked awful.
My mind off basketball.
Like, he looked really bad. And they were just torching him on defense. The Hornets, most of their
I'm just going to use that the next time I'm at work and they tell me, like, you don't feel like it's like, oh, I just really haven't had my mind on my work. Like, I'm just kind of like, not doing that.
It was gruesome to watch, and it literally felt like there was a point in the fourth quarter where LeBron was like, all right, fuck this, I guess I'll just do this myself. And he was like, I guess I still am the fucking best player on this team, and I'm gonna have to do this shit. And then it's just Luka standing off the side doing literally nothing as LeBron's busting ass, trying to make them come back. The Hornets are doing everything a basketball team can do to lose a game. It's a miracle every time they score. And they won. They fucking won. Mark Williams gets the last laugh. The Lakers, their big man situation. I know last time I said, they got LeBron and Luka. I'm not ruling them out. I don't know how they're going to contend with this big man. Like, Alex Len is awful. Jackson Hayes is awful. They have one guy on the whole roster who plays defense. That's Jared Vanderbilt, who doesn't really play offense and is only like 6'8", 6'9". Rui is awful. Everyone on their team you could just target. Like, Reeves got ejected, which is hilarious.
That's great.
for yelling at the ref. Like, it's just such an awful, awful game. And the fact that the Lakers couldn't even win it against that Charlotte team, buckle up. I'm excited. I hope this goes badly.
Great. I mean, great pivot, right? Great pivot right into Mark Williams's agent. Didn't he release a statement that basically said like several like renowned doctors have said that there's no reason to have failed that physical?
Yeah.
I mean, can that trade get unreversed? Like,
no. And I mean, the thing is, I just, there's so much gray area, and I don't know if this will lead to like a rule change, but it's like, how can every team has their own doctors, every team conducts their own physical? Like, you can probably find a reason in almost any player to be like, well, if you really want to. So I don't know what they can do.
It might be one of those things that just like teams, they know it happens, but you always have to kind of complain about it. Like,
yeah. Well, and it
like
seems
one
like
of those
that's
kind
of
of unwritten things, but
yeah. And I mean, that's why it certainly seems like the Lakers just got cold feet. And I don't know if they just were reacted to the backlash of everyone making fun of them for the trade. I don't know if they were like, realized they could get a better deal for that package later. I don't know. I've heard that they were even like doing it to appease Luka and now canceling it to be like, oh, see, dude, you said you wanted a rim rolling center. Like, we tried. Haha, wink, wink. But they're going to have a lot of work to do this offseason, let's just say. Fascinating. I feel honestly like bad for Mark Williams, the person, because I feel like this is going to stick with him the rest of his career. Like, he could probably do anything the rest of this contract, and still when it's time for the next contract, teams are gonna be like, well,
yeah,
like
that's probably why his agent's putting a lot of shit out.
Obviously, yeah. I mean, they have to, but at the same time, like, really now the only thing he can do is go back to Charlotte with his tail between his legs and prove that he's healthy and good. Like, it just shitty situation for him to be in. Dalton Connect could not have looked like he wanted to be anywhere less last night than suiting up for the Lakers. So that's another fun.
Did he play at all? I saw the clip of him just like looking pissed in the sidelines.
No, he played. I don't think he broke a sweat, and I'm not sure he made a shot, but he was out there chucking up some threes and some light cardio.
Jimmy Butler playbook.
Yeah, the old late heat Jimmy kind of. That's kind of what it was. So yeah, grim scene, but what a fun way to start the post All-Star break. That really, I was enjoying that. So we'll see. I mean, I really just kind of think, sadly, it is almost best at this point for the Hornets to just let it go. Like, what are you going to prove? What are you going to win? You've said all there is to say. Maybe they change the rule or something in the offseason, but at this point, you're just kind of damaging your own assets.
Yeah, they can't.
I hate it. I hate giving up because it feels like morally they are in the right, but it just feels like there's really no recourse at this point.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to give the Hornets too much of the moral high ground, but
well, I don't know. Why? Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't. Well, in this situation,
don't they have the guy Bridges?
I don't think they. Yeah. I don't mean in general. I just meant in this one argument of like this trade. Like, the Lakers made it seem like they tried to sell them damaged goods.
Well, yeah.
And I think
put it this way: if it happened the other way around, and they tried to rescind it, the Lakers would have been able to make that deal still go through. But they don't have that influence, so they're not going to win against the Lakers. But
and also,
what else wrong?
It was funny to watch that game last night and being like, wait, which it's the fat white guy on the yellow team that failed the physical, right? Like, but that's another story. Because Williams looked
a lot of good pictures. I love the picture of that James Corbin or whatever.
James Corbin, yeah, I've seen what's the comedian's name?
Shane Gillis. Shane Gillis.
That's gonna get some serious play. Any slightly obese white guy.
Yeah,
good stuff. That'll get player run, and I will. For one, if you tweet one of those at me, I will retweet it. That is a promise.
How could you not?
I'm not gonna not laugh at those, and I can't imagine myself getting sick of it either. So that's fun. All right, some sad kind of and serious news. Victor Wembanyama ruled out for the remainder of the season today. They found a blood clot in his shoulder. Scary stuff. Scary stuff. I mean, we've seen this end Chris Bosh's career as it spread to his lungs. We've seen it with Brandon Ingram, Oscar Thompson, Teletovic, some recent examples of guys, Koloko as well from the Lakers, who were able to come back. It sounds like they're optimistic. They caught it. It's an isolated incident. They got it when it is. He'll rest. He should be fully good. But who knows? Still scary. And obviously, a guy whose body is that freakishly large could be a higher risk if it happens again. So, don't want to speculate. Don't want to think the worst.
Hopefully it's just an isolated thing.
Pretty alarming stuff. Scary, frankly. sad to see, and just messed up too that it started with him basically feeling fatigued and not being able to recover, led to them being like, all right, like I get maybe something's wrong. And if you recall that last game before the All-Star break, Spurs Celtics, if you remember right at the start of the second half, he was huffing and puffing. Scal was even saying it on the broadcast. He's like, Wemby is like gassed right now, like can't get up and down the court. And it was weird because like the second half it just started. I remember being like, what the fuck is wrong with this dude? Now we know. It's also kind of funny too because he was at the All-Star game gutting it out and like was hustling his ass off in the at Sengun when he let up that game-winning layup to Tatum. So I mean, just obviously hoping this is a blip on his radar of his great career, and we're never talking about this again. But it certainly sucks. If you want to spin it into any type of positive silver lining, at least for the Spurs, their season was probably basically over, so this might be a nice time to kind of stealth tank.
Yeah, it's like
add another top
Robinson was hurt or whatever, and they got Duncan.
Exactly. So that's obviously the very, very sunny outlook on how this might end up in the long run benefiting the Spurs, but not something anyone wants to see in the meantime, especially after they just made the aggressive move to get Fox. You basically have a lost season of those two building chemistry, if nothing else. Now Fox might need hand surgery. Maybe you shut him down. Maybe you go full tank and you try to get one more cost-controlled young stud in the door before you really ramp things up. I don't know, but just shitty for basketball fans.
Yeah, it stinks.
Shitty for league pass havers. Just shitty. Yeah, definitely shitty. So speedy recovery hope for Wemby. Not injury news, but Bobby Portis suspended 25 games. That is essentially the end of the season.
Yeah,
that's like 2 more games left.
This seems a little unfair. I mean, it sounds like he accidentally took like a different medicine or something.
Yeah,
but either way, 25 games seems
Tramadol.
steep.
He thought it was Toradol. It's a very mild painkiller, but I mean, it's on the banned substance list. I don't know. I know it just blows my mind.
Just seems like a lot compared to what they've given other guys for other shit. I mean, the NBA is always.
I think it's just the standard for if you to get test positive for banned substance, 25 games. I don't think it matters what it is.
I know. I mean, I understand how it works when something happens and they suspend a guy. I'm saying.
But I'm saying I don't think it mattered what the drug was.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm saying, okay, well, the idea is that maybe we say, should it? Like, we have a conversation, maybe? Like, it's crazy. Like, the guy beat the shit out of his girlfriend and got like 30 games, and this guy gets 25 for something like that. Like, doesn't the NBA just look at that and be like, well, this doesn't make us look very good?
You would think not, but I mean,
if 25 is for a banned substance, I think, like,
I mean, if you're talking about Bridges, they did take into account the fact that he didn't play or earn money for a year and a half. They're baking that into the suspension. But either way, I'm fine with if you do any domestic abuse, anything like that, you could be out of the league forever, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. So obviously, if you want to get into the semantics of every individual thing.
It just seems like 25 just seems like a lot. I think there should be some room for...
I think it's more that the others look like too little. But
yeah.
Fair enough. If you want to classify it as maybe different levels of substances, and it's like, all right, this clearly isn't the same as taking like some fucking steroids or some shit. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah. But in the interim, sadly, Bobby Portis is pretty important to the Bucks, as they don't really have that many guys that can score the basket. They just lost one of them for likely the remainder of the season. It looks like they're about 26 seconds away from getting a nice home win over the Clippers, but that team's in trouble, and this certainly is not going to help. So, kind of sucks. I guess.
Bucks.
Yeah. And then another nice little piece of business by the Cavs, getting our old friend Javonte Green off the buyout market. So we talked last time we played that team had 0 wings and had no chance against the Celtics. Good for them. They went out. They got DeAndre Hunter. Now Javonte Green. So they had 0 wings. Now they have 2. Just a nice move by the team that looks more and more like they're our chief competition, and it's kind of cool and respectable that they're like loading up specifically to go against us. Love Javonte. He was a good Celtic. He was one of Tatum's best friends, and I think I texted you. I wonder if the Pelicans had bought him out a little earlier, if we would have rather taken him over Torrey Craig, kind of similar players and such. So worth noting.
Torrey Craig showed out tonight, though. At least, so.
Yeah, he did. He really did. Can't believe that. And then the last thing, which carried me through this few days without any break. I don't know if you've had a chance to watch it. We actually haven't talked about this. The new Netflix documentary series, Court of Gold. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen it. I've seen clips and stuff.
Holy
I haven't
shit,
seen it.
It's awesome. Highly recommend to anyone. If you're not familiar, it's from the 2024 Paris Olympics that just happened. It follows 4 teams, USA, France, Serbia, and Canada. 6 parts, uncensored, super, super raw footage inside the locker room, out partying. You've probably seen some of the clips going around on Twitter. It's worth it. It's awesome. This stuff is fucking raw. It will make you, if you're a KD hater, I know you and I are mostly KD neutral at worst. I like KD. I don't know how anyone can watch this and not come away being like, fuck, KD's cool. He's the man. He's a huge winner. Impossible not to respect KD after this. Batum also comes off as a huge winner. He was the man in this, has a speech that gave me the fucking chills. And then everyone from Team Serbia, including their coach, it's just awesome and fucking hilarious.
I've heard that's a fun team to be
worth watching just for the Serbia moments alone. Highlighted after them winning by Bogdanovic saying their goal was to get historically drunk, and they succeed. So it's awesome. Go watch it for yourself. If you like basketball,
how many episodes? Really
enjoy it. It's 6. They're like 40 minutes, 45 minutes. I crushed it in a day or two. Very, very smooth. Once you start, you won't want to stop. It's really good, really cool. Makes you like a lot of the guys, and also gives you a glimpse at how awesome like covering basketball could be. Because half the time watching this, I was just like, there's so much cool shit here, and it just makes this fucking TNT shit that much worse. When I know it's like not, apples to apples, but still, it's just like, it's so easy to cover basketball and make it look so fucking awesome. And we're just failing so bad. So hopefully this is a sign of things to come. But anyway, we don't usually do free promo, but I will vouch if you're looking for something to watch on Netflix, Court of Gold, excellent stuff for any basketball fans. And I think even non-basketball fans, just as like a documentary type show, will probably enjoy it. Obama has some nice cameos, shooting the shit with ants.
I saw Anthony Edwards was like just talking crazy.
Yes, he was. It was unclear if he knew who Obama was based on the way he was talking to him. So reckless.
That's so true. That's so true.
LeBron and KD, there's a moment where they kind of look over. They're at some like mixer, and they see that like Sid Obama are isolated, and they all kind of come over like, whoa, like what's going on over here? They're like rescuing like
we gotta figure this out.
Talking to himself. Really good stuff, and I think will endear you to a lot of the players. And there's very little Tatum stuff, so I didn't get that pissed reliving that element of it. But there's some good stuff in there with him too. True, Derek, the whole deal. So good stuff, basketball lovers.
All right. All right. Yeah, so Celtics are back again on Sunday, 1 p.m. matinee. Knicks coming to the Garden. Yeah, I don't like that one bit. Knicks, I mean, we saw them just a couple days ago. We kind of kicked the shit out of them, 131 to 104, just a few games ago. Anyone like hurt? Anything we need to know about this Knicks team or what?
They've had Josh Hart has some weird, concerning injury that they're supposedly going to have to load manage, which is just a funny thought when you think of Josh Hart and Tibbs and like the idea of load managing.
So he's going to play 46 minutes a game.
The worst possible player-coach combo to have to just like ease through an injury. So I feel like they're going to force him to just like not play because that's going to be the only way for Tibbs to not play him like 47 minutes. So he definitely didn't play tonight. I've seen some people say like this is a serious injury. He's going to be out for a while. OG Anunoby is nearing a return. I think he was ruled out tonight, but he's been questionable lately. So they might get OG back. They probably won't have Hart. Mitchell Robinson also has been playing 5-on-5. We could see his debut. So it could be an entirely full-strength Knicks team, the likes of which we haven't even seen, or they could have several players out like they did tonight, which they almost just lost at home to the Bulls. They did pull it out in overtime. So not playing great ball. The Celtics, of course, are.
And it dominated them all year, outscoring them by like 60 or something.
Exactly. Always a fun game. And what I said last time, no matter any of those guys, in, out, whatever, at the end of the day, this comes down to their two best players, Brunson and Cat, are fucking food for our offense. And until they change that,
feed, bro.
Yeah, exactly. I just like the matchup is just so favorable for us that it really doesn't even matter. Obviously, the more good players they have, like the more it helps, the more they can compete, and the more, it gives them more variance that they could beat us if things go well. But again, just not a matchup that scares me.
No,
and
me neither.
I mean, if we show up and play with the purpose and effort that we have been tonight and the few games leading into the All-Star break, this will be another blowout victory for the Celtics.
All right. I'd like that very much.
Likewise.
I always get nervous about those Sunday matinee games. We'll see. Hopefully everyone gets a good night rest Saturday night.
And it's also like we've proven our point already this year against the Knicks, I feel like, even. So, if we kind of no-show and they win, I'd be annoyed, but I wouldn't change any of the way I actually feel like about that matchup.
Yeah. We'll see how I react if that happens.
Still want to beat the Piss.
Tune in to see how I react if that happens.
I'm not saying I'll be happy. I won't be making drastic overreactions.
All right. That's it for the show. Thanks to the sponsors, Mario's Roofing and Nick Perino Real Estate. Follow us. What is that?
Fuck Bowser.
Oh. All right. What was I saying? Follow us on Twitter, on X, at Chuddy's Corner. Follow Chuddy at King Chuddy. Follow me at Doug_outs. Subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe anywhere you get your podcast. Everywhere you get your podcast, even where you don't get your podcast. Create a login and subscribe. We'll see everyone back here Sunday evening. Be out nice and early.
Not evening. Well,
one will be over around like 2 or 3. Yeah.
All right.
Sunday late afternoonish. You'll be able to get that episode in before the weekend comes to an end. See you all there. Take care.
Peace out, Chuddy Odds.